Yes, they met. Yes, that was against William's wishes, but there was no sense that I'm getting that Charles laid out the red carpet for Harry. These two images from Meghan's mole side by side show why Harry looked so miserable on leaving Clarence's house.
When Harry walked out empty-handed, the ripple hit more than just him. It splashed straight onto Meghan and their entire media empire. According to industry chatter, big platforms like Netflix and Spotify thrive on one thing: access. And without fresh royal connections, critics say the Sussex storyline risks going stale. Public opinion put it bluntly: no palace, no plot. The internet didn't hold back either. One viral joke compared their content deals to a reality show without drama. It's like watching Survivor. But everyone just politely shares coconuts. Others argued Meghan now faces pressure to craft the next big headline, possibly through carefully managed interviews or leaks, just to keep the spotlight alive. Commentators also noted the brand risk: every denied request, every frosty meeting makes it harder to package the Sussexes as insiders. Without that royal shine, they're selling a story with fewer plot twists, and public reaction suggests people are already restless. The optics weren't just about family. They were about business. He's desperately trying to get back in with the king because he knows he'll never be able to get back in with William. Once that door is closed, and King Charles passes, there's likely no chance of him ever getting back into the royal fold. While Charles doubled down on image control, Harry's exit looked like a devastating setback for the Sussex brand itself. But if you think that's bad, the bigger picture makes this look even harsher. Because this wasn't just about tea and biscuits. It was about power, image, and survival.
But ever since he hooked up with Meghan, he has spectacularly lost his popularity. He seems to be obsessed with getting it back.
This meeting actually went for a much shorter period than what the rest of the mainstream media is reporting.
When the talk ended, the scene outside Clarence's house became the real headline. According to onlookers, Harry walked out with a pace that screamed, "Meeting adjourned." Nothing to see here. No smiles, no waves, no warm father-son farewell, just a quick exit that felt more like a fire drill than a family reunion. Public reaction was instant. Memes flooded timelines comparing the exit to leaving a group project where you did all the work but still got no credit. Others roasted the timing: 55 minutes total, less than 20 minutes of private talk, and Harry leaving without so much as a doggy bag of leftovers. Online, it was dubbed the shortest royal comeback tour in history. Even the photos told the story. Charles later pictured looking regal and composed, while Harry was snapped with what many described as a frustrated glare. Commentators pointed out the optics. One man looked like a monarch in full control, the other like he just lost a very awkward argument at a family barbecue. The palace said nothing, but the media said everything. Within hours, headlines painted the tea as a reunion, some even suggesting it was a step toward reconciliation. But online, the crowd wasn't buying it. Social media had a field day. One post joked that Harry's 55-minute tea sounded more like a dentist appointment, except you usually leave the dentist with a free toothbrush. And the backlash didn't stop at him. It quickly spilled over onto Meghan and their entire brand.
Harry, who ended up apologizing to the king, not the other way around.
I'll tell you the real reason. It's all a PR stunt.
William at one point within 7 miles of his brother, so near and yet so far, refusing to see him.
According to royal commentators, moments like this Clarence House meeting don't just make headlines for a week. They stick to a person's story forever. Decades from now, documentaries won't remember the exact biscuit served at tea, but they will remember the image of Harry walking out empty-handed while Charles held his ground. Public opinion is already shaping the narrative. Some people sympathize, saying Harry is the underdog fighting for recognition. Others argue he's cementing himself as the royal who couldn't win back what he left behind.
They know that once King William is King William, that they're done, that they're completely cut off.
Yes, they met, but King Charles gave Harry the cold shoulder with no special treatment.
A viral post summed it up with lines like, "History won't remember the 55 minutes. It'll remember the empty exit." And that's where the sting really lies. For Charles, this meeting folds neatly into the image of a monarch prioritizing duty over drama. For Harry, critics warn it risks being remembered as yet another chapter in a saga of disappointment. Legacy isn't built overnight. It's built moment by moment. And this team may end up defining more than either side expected.
Him and Meghan had this really flash new PR team over in LA who are trying to make all these meetings happen.
This is the sort of meeting that the king does with strangers. It's not the sort of meeting that he does with loved ones.
Pines about how unsafe he feels and how he needs the British taxpayer to pay for his security, yet he's happy to reveal his 25 Taliban kills in his book for a deal, and then jet over to Ukraine. This is a man who clearly doesn't care about his safety. It's just about his victim complex. If this is the story now, imagine how it'll look when the next storm inevitably hits.
She was the villain. She was the third person in the marriage. She needed to rehabilitate her image.
This man, I think, will be asking Dad for a little bit more money very, very quickly. I only see bad things on the horizon.
Yet, Harry's audacious wish list was met with an even more chilling response. So, how did King Charles respond to Harry's royal shopping list? According to reports, with the kind of silence that could freeze Buckingham Palace fountains. Witnesses described his tone as calm, measured, and completely unyielding, like a teacher who just caught you cheating and doesn't even bother to raise their voice. Public opinion framed it as the ultimate royal no delivered without a single dramatic gesture. Insiders claimed Charles leaned heavily on protocol, not personal emotion. Translation: he didn't even give Harry the satisfaction of a heated debate.
Harry is really, really deep in trouble at the moment, even financially. We know that Meghan's Jam failed to sell out. Her season 2 of her cooking show was an absolute disaster.
The list is ridiculous. Once Meghan treated as an HRH, that's the most realistic on the list, where you can go, I can see these two having the audacity to say that people need to bow and curtsy to Prince Harry's wife.
Instead, it was stone-cold monarchy mode. People online joked it was like trying to return an item at a store and being told, sorry, no refunds, no exchanges. Policy is policy. Camilla's presence reportedly made the refusal even more airtight. Commentators suggested that with her at the table, Charles was less dad in the living room and more CEO in the boardroom. Memes exploded, painting the king as a wall of granite while Harry looked like someone bouncing a tennis ball against it, hoping for cracks. The message was clear: there is no trust when it comes to Prince Harry, and the king was not about to be played for a fool, but Harry wasn't done yet. His reaction to that royal wall, that's when things really started to unravel.
And it's all about trust. There is no trust when it comes to Prince Harry.
His meeting with the king, I agree. I think that it was a symbolic gesture to say, hey, I'm back in with the royal family, public. Don't take me for a fool. But no one's falling for it.
Sources say the Clarence House meeting showed exactly how the monarchy plays the long game: silence, tradition, and optics over emotion. Charles didn't need fiery words. The lack of concessions spoke louder than any headline. Public opinion framed it as a brutal reminder that Harry isn't just clashing with his father. He's clashing with an entire institution. Commentators compared the showdown to a chess match. Harry moved fast, asking for multiple things at once, but Charles responded like a grandmaster, barely moving, but still trapping his opponent. One viral post summed it up: "You can't outdrama an institution that's been perfecting drama for centuries."
But he's been on this huge charm offensive. Here I am, this charity, I'm like a great guy. Oh, look at me sword fighting with this kid. It's classic sort of royal visit stuff.
Tom Sykes of the Daily Beast said, was that a settlement meeting? Does Prince Harry want to see his dad to say, what can I get out of you before I lose the opportunity?
For Harry, the stakes are bigger than one awkward tea. Without royal backing, every move now risks looking like a scramble for relevance. Public conversations are already branding him as hapless or struggling for validation. Meanwhile, Charles projects steady continuity, doubling down on his role as monarch, not father, in this arena. And that's why this meeting matters. It wasn't just a 55-minute tea. It was the crown quietly reminding Harry who controls the narrative. But is this truly the end of his royal story, or just the beginning of the next storm? Here's the part almost nobody's talking about: legacy.
He's trying to get back in with the king because he knows he'll never be able to get back in with William. That's never going to happen. So once that door is closed and unfortunately the king passes, I don't think there's any chance of him getting back into the fold.
Forget tea and biscuits. According to multiple reports, Harry came armed with an agenda thicker than a royal history book. Sources suggest he wasn't there just to sip Earl Grey. He was there to negotiate, and the rumored list? Oh, it raised eyebrows. First, financial backing. People online joked that it sounded less like a reunion and more like pitching your dad on Shark Tank. Harry is apparently in very deep financial trouble. Especially after Meghan's jam failed to sell out and her cooking show reportedly tanked. Then came the sticky subject of titles for the kids. Public opinion immediately lit up, with some saying it was Harry fighting for his family, while others quipped it was more about clout than crowns. And tucked in with all of that were requests for security support and even coverage for mounting legal costs. If true, that's a shopping cart full of royal favors. Commentators described the vibe as urgent, not humble, like showing up at a family dinner and demanding Wi-Fi cash and car keys before dessert. Public reaction was brutal, with one viral post comparing it to asking Santa for every toy in the catalog and then wondering why the sleigh feels empty.
I understand why Prince William has no desire to have a relationship with his brother. His brother brings nothing but negativity and potentially the end of the monarchy.
And then there was Queen Camilla. Yes, she joined the table, a move that immediately flipped the vibe. For Harry, who's been openly critical of her role in the past, this was like walking into a board meeting only to find your least favorite manager running the show. She was once cast as the third person in the marriage, a villain in need of image rehabilitation, and now she was firmly by the king's side. Public opinion quickly pointed out the irony. Harry may have expected a father-son heart-to-heart, but instead, he got the royal power couple tag team edition. The funniest part? No official palace statement, no smiling exit photos, nothing, just total silence. According to commentators, this made the whole thing look even sketchier. If this was supposed to be about healing, why did it feel more like a royal business transaction that got cut short? It certainly seemed to solidify the king's united front against Harry's perceived attempts at re-entry, but here's where things start to really heat up. Because what Harry supposedly asked for next had even veteran royal reporters clutching their pearls.
This is a man who pines on about how unsafe he feels and how he needs the British taxpayer to pay for his security, but is very happy to reveal about his 25 Taliban killings in his book that he got a book deal for, and then very happy to jet over to Ukraine. So this is a man who clearly doesn't care about his safety, it's just about his victim complex.
But if this is the story now, imagine how it'll look when the next storm inevitably hits.
They called it a private tea, but let's be honest, this was no cozy catch-up. According to palace insiders, Clarence's house looked less like a family home and more like the set of a spy thriller. Security swarmed the gates, cameras were blocked, and staff shuffled in silence, as if they knew something big was about to explode. The entire meeting clocked in at just 55 minutes, less than an episode of The Crown. But here's the true sting: reports claim Harry and the King had barely 20 minutes of private conversation. The rest? Protocols, security checks, and a lot of awkward waiting around. People online were quick to joke it wasn't a meeting at all, but more like a speed date gone spectacularly wrong, or perhaps even worse, waiting in line at the DMV, but with fancier wallpaper. This was the kind of meeting the King holds with strangers, not with loved ones, and it set a chilling tone for what was to come, but that wasn't the whole story, because what happened next would shock everyone.